There was a survey done in 2003, and this is amazing, that 20% of the songs played on British radio were songs produced or written by you. And 43% of the songs in the US on the radio were produced or written by you. Mm. Were you aware what was going on, that your sound had become global and that you were uniting the same thing that you were doing in Virginia Beach, where you seen that kid who listened to hip hop but who wore a mullet, that you were actually bringing all these worlds together sonically on a global basis?
I didn't realize it until I kind of was just kind of feeling like, you know, I was looking at culture and saying to myself, this is weird, because you start to see it. You start to see, you know, little...
people dressing like you, people wearing trucker hats like you.
It freaked me out. And I remember you and I talking about it. And I remember you being so baffled by it. Like, yo, what are you doing? And Kanye asked me, he was like, yo, you don't want this? And I was kind of like, nah, man. And I just remember thinking to myself, I need to go do some other things, because I don't feel like people want to move on from this. You remember that? Of
course. I didn't understand it. And I always want to talk to you about it to make sure that you were aware what was going on. And, you know, it seems like still to this day, you never fully accepted that the impact that you made.
Well, you know what? I was, you know, I'm a Southern boy. So, you know, at the end of the day, humility is everything. And I think credit is to be given and not to be taken. But at the same time, sometimes I really need to be told and reminded, because I'm so in my head about like moving on and doing the new thing and doing the next thing. You know that.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
You know, we've done several things together and you've seen it. Like, sometimes, you know, I get ahead of myself and I'm just kind of like, but come on, guys, let's move on. Let's do some new things, you know? And sometimes people are like, no, we're good. We're good right here for a minute. Let's just ride this out. And for the most part, that's why I didn't notice it, because I never thought that I was stamping anything or I was pioneering anything.
It's the last question I want to ask you. I recently had a conversation with the designer Marc Jacobs, and you guys collaborated on a jewelry line and a sunglass eyewear line. Louis Vuitton did not have eyewear before, and he worked with you. And the inspiration came from the notorious B.I.G. to make glasses.
Yep.
Could you tell me about this?
I was on the front row of Vicky's Secret. And he was like, what sunglasses are those? And I was like, they're Bathing Ape. He was like, what made you wear them? I was like, it just remind me of Big. He was like, I like them. What do you want to do? Let's do something.
And from that moment, it turned into a collaboration?
Right then and there. And he was like, well, what other sunglasses would you do? And I was like, you're going to think I'm crazy. He was like, what? I love when Tony says to Manny, you know, it's the money.
You got to make the money first. Then when you get the money, you get the power.
So you talking about Scarface?
Yeah.
And Notorious Big?
Yeah.
And that inspiration put Louis Vuitton in the sunglass business?
Yes, sir.
Pharrell, thank you. Thanks for joining.
My pleasure.
Thank you. You've just seen another edition of The Tanning Effect.